Hey guys, I'm Layla, and today I'm here with Magic Image Hollywood Magazine. And we are here at IRONHEAD Studios, and I'm interviewing Jose Fernandez, CEO of the studios. Hi Jose, how are you today?
Good.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Me too.
We loved walking through your amazing studio.
Thanks.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to get involved with the entertainment industry and especially the effects department.
Well, I guess try to sum it up as quickly as I can. So I think out of high school, I figured I had to make a living and eat somehow, and I couldn't hold normal jobs, so I figured it had to be in art in some way. And I don't know which film it was, Alien, Star Wars, one of those. I figured somebody has to make that type of stuff, so I figured I would try that. And most of my teachers, said probably not a good idea, but I didn't listen, of course. So I just kept kind of in that direction, and I'd always messed with my own clothes. Halloween was a big time of the year. I could dress up however I wanted, so it was kind of a base for what I would eventually do. So I was always making costumes or tweaking my clothes, and then just going in that general direction. And then years later, things just seemed to fall into place. I started with creatures and monsters, and then my first break into costume was Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman.
Oh,
So
really?
That was kind of my first impression of costume. Like, well, that's kind of a nice blend of kind of what I used to love to do. It's sculptural based, which is what I am, basically a sculptor, and then it wearable kind of art. Just really, and I guess I do like a challenge. I don't like doing the same thing. Building widgets would drive me insane. So doing something over and over again is maddening. So it's always new. So sometimes it's overwhelming. Other times it's just a great challenge and getting to explore new things and new materials and yeah.
And did you grow up here in Los Angeles, or where are you from exactly?
Yes, I grew up in LA. I was born in Mexico, Juarez to be exact. I was probably there for a few months, I think.
Yeah.
Basically, I was just born there. My mother, we had a lot of siblings, and my father was in and out. So she was there just so my grandmother was there, so it would be easier when I was, born. But as soon as I was able to travel, she came back. She already had a life here in the States. So we came, and I was raised here.
So you got a good feel for the arts community early on here. Did you actually take sculpting in school? Because you said you're a bit of a sculptor.
Yeah, but when I was in school, it isn't like now, which is great. Now you can actually learn, anatomy and realism. When I was in school, it was all impressionistic or modern, so it didn't really teach it. And actually, my school, I remember, when it was junior high or high school, I had a sculpting class, and everybody would rib the teacher that I was better than him. He was a ceramicist. He made pots and bowls, but he wasn't really a sculptor. And I just wanted to take the class because I could sculpt, and I was just always, I just put a lot of time in, so I just excelled. I had a knack for it, but I just put a lot of time in.
Well, that's a good point, because anatomy plays an important part into what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know the dimensions of the human body and everything to be able to create.
Yeah, and it's a huge part of what I do for sure. Muscle suits in general, being able to re-sculpt someone's body.
Yeah, talking about muscle suits, we got Batman back here.
Yeah. Sorry, take one drink of water.
Sure, take your time.
But yeah, it's kind of one of my specialties for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to work with the legendary Rick Baker.
Oh yeah, that was my first. I sculpted dinosaurs first for a few years. Out of the industry, and my first job in the industry was for Rick Baker. I was on Gremlins 2, and I was just hired as an intern. I'm not intern, but very low on the totem pole. Mm-hmm. Worked my way up, and within a few films, I was sculpting and designing stuff with him, which is great.
So wait, when his first, the film that you were interning on was Gremlins that you met him on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2.
And I was just hired as a kind of a helper, but then shortly after that, I was hired to help sculpt and design things for different films. I worked with him maybe 2-3 films, Men in Black. There was a couple of the films I worked on. And then I was freelance in the industry. I worked all over, like most people do, for about 20 years, different studios and shops and departments.
And, I mean, you are pretty young now. I mean, you look very young. But how old were you, do you think, when you started interning and really getting your knack into the industry?
I think I started sculpting mean, people started paying me to sculpt when I was
when is it that they started paying you? Let's
about
get to that part.
20 or 21 years old. Okay. And I think before that, I always said I was an artist. And I kind of almost didn't believe it because nobody paid me. But as soon as I got a check, I was like, okay, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of that point. And that was, and so it was about freelance 20-ish years. And then now I've opened my own studio, and that's been about 12, 13 years.
Yeah, you started the studios in 2007. IRONHEAD Studios.
My mind doesn't remember the dates, but yeah, I guess something like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's so what led you to really want to start your own studio?
I think, just there's a season for all things, and I think in the middle of my career, people would tell me I should do it, and I really wasn't ready or didn't think about it. And I just, as my career went on, I met more producers, directors, people that knew what I did. And then at that point, right at the end, I think I just felt a little kind of burned out on working for people. Mm-hmm. My personality just said I just need to do something else, either start my own business, or I was also getting into fine art, doing gallery work, bronze work. So I was either at that crossroads where I was either going to follow fine art or get into my own place. And this one won out. Kind of opportunity came up, I took it, and yeah, it took a few years to get established in this way. It was about 4 years before it actually could be regular.
In this way, so do you mean because I know as an artist to then cross over and to be in the business world, I mean, did you feel that you had a natural knack for business, or is that something that needed to be developed a bit?
It wasn't really natural, but I had enough, and also I think it was re-educating people that would hire me to sculpt, because that wasn't a problem. People would hire me to run shows, develop things, but to have my own business is definitely a whole other thing.
There's a lot of paperwork.
So it took a little while, and mainly it's just you have to hire a team. It's knowing who to back you up. And I have right now there's 18-ish people, and I ramp up to like 45 people, in my studio, and it's just coordinating the right people in the right positions.
So 18 that are part of your full-time team, and then the additional would be like contractors?
Yeah, in this business, everybody's a contractor.
Yeah.
But some have been with me for 10 years contracting. So
nice.
So it varies. But yeah, most people are freelance, but fortunately we're busy enough to keep a core group together.
So I know that you have created and made some of the most amazing Superman suits. Or I should say superhero suits.
Yeah, I've done like Superman or two, but yeah, superheroes, yeah.
So which one's your favorite?
I don't know if I have one.
Right.
Let's
name them first of all.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, Michelle Pfeiffer was the first time I had the opportunity to do it, and she still has a soft spot for me. I love that being a part of that. And then the Bat suits for sure. I've done 4 Batman films. The X-Men, I think I've done at least 4 X-Men films. The Spider-Man, I don't know, Black Panther. I don't know. Look at my case. Tron stuff. I don't even know. A Superman or 2. Quite a few.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't have a favorite?
No, every time.
It just depends on.
Recently, we worked on Aquaman. We didn't do him, but we did Black Manta and Orem. And when I finished that one, I thought this is great. But then I finished something else. I go, no, that's great. When I finished Batman, I thought that was the best. So I just throw myself in completely, and when I'm done, I'm tired, destroyed, but also usually satisfied. And then the next one comes. So I don't know.
Kind of becomes like a trophy that just sits there.
Yeah. Next, just more the next thing and the next, challenge.
That's awesome. Would you say that, I mean, I know you worked with Rick Baker and a lot of others that probably inspired and motivated you along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Who would you say are some of your mentors in the industry?
Oof, lots and lots. Yeah, Rick for sure, huge. In costume world, Colleen Atwood's one of the top. When I started, Bob Ringwood was doing the Batman films, and he's retired now, but he was huge. I don't know, there's lots of them. I think I didn't have any formal training, but my training was working. So all these amazing designers and people I work with now push me and motivate me, and then I help push them and just keep raising it. I think that's the thing, just not being satisfied. And that's how I think if you feel you've arrived, then you get stale. I think knowing there's always growth, there's somewhere to go.
Do you feel like some of their influence is in your designs, even?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and also I'm influenced by European art, I guess the classics. So I think that's part of my drive or my DNA is to make things that are more timeless. No matter what it is, superheroes or creatures, whatever it is. I just don't want it to be trendy or fad or cool now. I want it to be cool in 10 years and 20 years. So that's the idea, and that's more, I think, European, the line and sculpture in public places. It has to stand the test of time. And that's kind of what motivates me more than just being trendy or current.
Right. Yeah. And so, talking about trends, so what do you think are the current trends right now that you'd like to see maybe done away with in the costume world?
Well, I don't know.
Is there any that's like, oh, you know?
No, I don't know. I mean, people sometimes say there's enough of, I mean, Marvel is kind of king, and there's that aesthetic, which is cool. I probably have enough of that aesthetic, so it's probably cool. I think it's probably will start shifting in a different direction. For a while, spandex was cool, and then it's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer for that.
Yeah, working with a lot of good materials now and things.
Yeah, I think what I try to do now more than ever is try to work out comfort and mobility. So the aesthetic, for sure, that's just a given, but also trying to make sure the actors have full range of movement, so it doesn't inhibit them.
Right.
That's kind of important to me. So trying to come up with ways of making the things last on set and move well on set, which is huge. A lot of times they do fall apart. I mean, they can. So you're wearing a prototype, essentially. You're making one-offs every time, so it's all new. It's not like you buying something that's been manufactured. It actually is, every one you wear is a prototype. So trying to make that as durable and bulletproof as possible. That's the challenge always.
Yeah, especially if they're on set and they're, trying to do all these stunts. Mm-hmm. So you have to really think about a lot of...
Yeah. And we do get, which is awesome, we get a lot of compliments on our suits. I mean, they're not all perfect, but we do get a lot that how well they move and perform.
How would you measure success? Like, what does success mean to you?
I don't know about success. I mean, well, there's different types, right? There's money. I have some. I'm not rich by any means. I think I guess it's doing what you enjoy or love. That's kind of awesome. Through my time and career, people I grew up with in school, they're always saying how lucky I am to be able to do what I enjoy and make a living at it. That's pretty awesome. To me, that's what I've done, which is great. But I guess from what I understand here, it's not the norm. Other people are accountants. Nothing wrong with accountants. If you love it, that's awesome. But if they're kind of doing something that they need to do for a living, but to do something you enjoy, make a living at it, it's pretty much a bonus. So that's pretty awesome. Success.
And then that gets into a topic about, kind of the climate of today in the U.S. and some of the issues that we're facing. Do you have any sort of opinions on that and what you would do to change it?
What kind? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're dealing a lot with, like you said, that people aren't really happy in their current position so much, or just even the the financials, and
yeah, I don't know. I guess I was raised in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
and I do believe in the U.S. I think the American dream. So I think it is still here. I think if you work hard enough, smart enough, you can achieve just about anything. I think, and I believe that. So I think a lot of people that I grew up in know they kind of didn't want to sacrifice or go the extra step. They just were a little bit, I don't know, scared, whatever it was. But I think the opportunities are here. You could make a living just about doing anything. And I think if you sacrifice, put the energy towards it, I think it's possible. So I think it's still here. It's just, some people decide to do it and other people just take the path, more traveled instead of the less traveled.
That's a great answer. I like that. So how do people, find you? Do you have like a website or a...
Yeah, I mean, right now, I guess I've been around long enough, so people know me. So they kind of just, they call me. I haven't had to pound the pavement in a long time or have resumes or anything, which is fortunate. But that's usually just word of mouth or just established relationships I've had. Fortunate for me. But yeah, I have a website, which you can always go and see the work. And you know, what we've been up to. But for the most part, just old relationships and then new ones that people hear about me.
Well, thank you, Jose.
Sure.
Thank you for letting us come. So this is let's talk a little bit. This is your Batman.
Yeah, this is Ben Affleck's Batsuit. Yeah, so this was the 4th time I had at this character, and I always wanted to revisit it. I did the 3 earlier ones, and the main thing, I guess, real quick note about this guy. So I worked on earlier ones, and the one thing I always tried to solve back when I was younger and couldn't was his neck turn, which is seemingly simple, but it wasn't. I think we did the math. It's about 30 years from the first Batman till this one. And this is the first time he could actually turn his head, which is huge, seemingly simple, but actually it's huge. All the other films, he was either stiff-necked, or I think the Chris Nolan ones, they ended up just putting a cap on and his neck was segmented. So to me, it wasn't a true Batman. It was kind of a cheat or something different. It wasn't really the cowl. So that's the first time Batman could turn his head, which to me was a big deal.
Now, how long can the actors actually stay in a suit like this without, is there any kind of industry requirements it's been 3 hours, we need to give you a break out of the suit? Or
everyone's different. Some people's threshold for pain and tolerance is different. I mean, some people can stand 12 hours, other people 20 minutes, and they just lose their mind.
And you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think a suit would be counted as a threshold for pain.
They're tough because imagine a wetsuit, because it's kind of a similar material, so it's like wearing 5 wetsuits. So it is hot. It's not comfortable, but some people don't mind dealing with that for their craft. Other people they don't think they need to because they can wear normal clothes and make the same amount of money. So it varies. Interesting.
Yeah, and this guy is kind of blinking at me. Is he motion censored or?
Yeah, well, he's programmed. I just have different displays, and we didn't have anything quite like that, so I wanted to set one up. And like most people, as a child going to Disneyland, it was a neat just thing, the animatronics. So I thought it'd be nice to have someone in here just kind of doing this thing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd love to see more of that. Do you have a Joker?
No, I never did a Joker.
Never did Joker?
No.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jose.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And
pleasure.
We are here with Jose Fernandez from IronHead Studios, and I'm LAYLA, signing off with Magic Image Hollywood Magazine. Thanks.
See ya.
Thank you. Just one thing. Can you talk a little bit about what you did with Conan O'Brien?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Conan.
So that was for Comic-Con San Diego, I think he was gonna.
Yeah. So his people reached out and they wanted to do something. They didn't know what exactly, but they wanted to do. They were thinking just a hairpiece or headpiece. So they made the arrangements. They came by. They wanted to shoot in the studio. I said sure. It was kind of interesting. They said when they were coming in, they said Conan's going to meet you, but don't. It was kind of strange how they started. They said his job is to be an idiot or an asshole. So your job is to be the straight guy. So don't try to be funny. And I'm not a funny guy. But I'm like, okay. But then it just stilted me. I didn't know what to say or do because I was nervous of the whole thing. So he came in. We meet. Nice guy. And he was here almost 2 hours, and it was awesome. My face hurt. I was laughing so much. But yeah, after I got involved, I really wanted to do more than just a headpiece. I wanted to do head to toe superhero kind of talk show guy, and he was into it. They didn't have the budget, but I thought it'd be a great just calling card anyway. So I was looking forward to doing it, and we had bits, so we were able to just kind of throw it together in a way.
Yeah.
And like I said, he was great, and we went down to San Diego. They're really gracious. We were invited to the show and had us backstage, and he was just a fun guy.
What was so great about? Was he able to try on some of the costumes or?
No, I think. Well, if you see, there's a YouTube thing or a thing on where he did it. It was just kind of a goofy, fun guy, and just kind of poking fun at himself quite a bit. Explaining what he wanted, like a huge package. Wanted he has a flat butt. He wanted a big butt. Just goofy.
Can you make one of those like a muscle butt suit? To plump it up a bit.
We do that quite a bit.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
It was a good experience. I enjoyed him being here. Goofy guy. It was fun.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the show, and looks really cool. Like the suit, he looks like a superhero. He's
Yeah.
just, like skinny and.
Yeah, I think they were expecting something a little campy and cheesy. So when we showed up, he was like,
What?
"It's like real." Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
impressive.
we went to his show, and he has this suit like right there by me. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were good people.
Anytime you want to, you just put on the superhero outfit and you're like, yes.
And
This
it
is
was
my other persona.
And they were nice. Like I said, the whole group was nice. My sister does commercials. She does. She coordinates commercials and different things. And she happened to be in Mexico City doing a commercial. And someone from their camp saw her and remembered her. My sister's Laura, and they called her out. And Conan was there. Everybody was like, "Oh,
That's pretty
just
cool.
really good people."
Oh yeah, yeah.
nice.
He went to Mexico City.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah.